Welcome back, True Seeker. Monday, January 6th, 2025. The big story today, Justin Trudeau resigning as the Prime Minister of Canada. Of course, this news was broken last night, Sunday, January 5th. Put out a short video on that. Almost no one got a notification. Business as usual by Google. We're going to talk more about that in light of his father, who was the 15th Prime Minister of Canada. Again, the announcement went out last night on 1/5, the first month, fifth day. We're talking about it in light of his mother, in light of the Pope, in light of the Superior General. Again, both he and his father, Jesuit educated. A lot of rumors that he's actually the son of Fidel Castro. You might recall how Castro ended his political career, also Jesuit educated, like the Trudeaus, was Castro. But you might recall how his political career ended on the anniversary of Ignatius of Loyola becoming the first superior general of the Jesuits. And you might recall how that end came at age 84. And you might recall how his death corresponded with the first Jesuit Pope, Pope Francis. I'm talking about Castro, who died 433 days after shaking the Pope's hand, which is the 84th prime number. And then 433 days later, Castro's son died. Again, we're going to talk about where all this fits in with what has now happened. Again, it's a Jesuit world order, and nobody wants to talk about it. I'd say pretty much anyone who's ignoring the Jesuits is not really someone worth listening to. Point blank, period. If you're trying to do a litmus test of who's got the information that's correct and who doesn't, if you're not talking about the Jesuits, you don't know what you're talking about. Point blank, period. So we're going to go over the whole Trudeau thing. We're going to talk about the man who's expected to replace Trudeau. They're saying Donald Trump's 25% tariffs, which were announced on the November 25th, are what broke the camel's back for Trudeau. And now the guy who's expected to take over for Trudeau is a 45-year-old. Again, Donald Trump, number 45, returning in 2025 when 2025 has a square root of 45. Again, you learn why it's etched on the Masonic temples, all his number, once you start paying attention to the authorities, because they work by numbers every single day with their ritualism that pays tribute to history continuously. Also, and just pure mockery, on the anniversary of January 6th, 4 years ago today, the election is certified for Trump with Kamala Harris reading the votes. And they're saying it got delayed and moved to this date, obviously for the ritualistic purposes. You know what? This is a sad reminder for me. It's a reminder that for the last 4 years, I haven't even sniffed close to 100,000 views on a video, something I used to get with almost every video I put out back in 2016, 2017, when this channel was rapidly growing. Again, the last time I got 100,000 views was my video about January 6th, before January 6th happened. Again, I talked about how the Jesuits simulated the transition of power ending up in deadly violence. And you guys can all look that up. June 12th, 2020, Jesuit Georgetown did the Transition Integrity Project, where they simulated that Trump would narrowly lose. He would refuse to accept the results, saying the election was stolen from him, which would lead to a deadly altercation between Americans. Again, massive Jesuit ritual. The same numbers in that ritual are going to be the same numbers in what we talk about with Trudeau. It's the same stuff over and over. And I did put out a short video over the weekend when it was announced that Aubrey Plaza's husband, Jeff Baina, was dead right before the Golden Globes. Who remembers what they did with Lisa Marie Presley the other year for the Golden Globes after the gentleman won Best Actor for portraying her father? Yeah, well, we'll come back to that as well. It'll just blend in perfectly with what we're talking about with Trudeau, which will blend in perfectly with what we talked about last week with Jimmy Carter. Because again, it's the same repetitive rituals week after week. And once you know what you're looking at, you see why this is being done and who's doing it, which is the Jesuit order, whose logo is the sun, where in alchemy, the sun is gold. So what is a golden globe? Okay. And then also this thing, that this whole New Year's Day terrorist attacks has become advertising for all kinds of corporations, and we've talked about this many times before. That's why I have in my post categories. One of them is called advertising is news. Again, this has been about Airbnb, Turo, and now Meta's augmented reality glasses. Like these are important stories. And don't you just hate watching them? Anyone who's seen the media the last 24, 48 hours, they start, beware, we're about to show very chilling images and video of what it looked like through the terrorist Meta glasses as he walked Bourbon Street. And then it's just footage of a guy walking Bourbon Street. What's terrifying and chilling about that? Again, you turn the TV on mute and you cut out all the BS and what do you want to call it? Mind control, how they want to lead you, what to believe, what to think. The chilling video. Remember when they showed you the chilling video of his truck just driving down the street? Like, you might want to remove your children from the room. They've been playing violent video games, watching violent movies, probably porn on the computer, cartoons, which are the most violent thing, junk food ads all morning. Now they just happen to be in the living room with the parents who are watching the news. You might want to remove your children. We're about to show the chilling video of the terrorist driving his Ford truck down Bourbon Street. And there's just like a clip of him just like driving in traffic down the street. But this is what the news always is. And again, have you guys followed the little details that have come out of the story? You know, one of the details is that supposedly somebody who ran over was the friend of the wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals who played at Princeton and was a member of the Princeton Tigers football team. And of course, that guy now catches passes from Joe Burrow, who played for the LSU Tigers and who beat the Clemson Tigers in New Orleans. And that was right after he transferred from Ohio State, as Billy Cannon died on the Jesuit Cannonball Day, May 20th. And then in that championship game that Burrow won, you can go back and watch it. Go look up the footage of the January 13th, 2020 championship, LSU over New Orleans. They literally give you a numerology lesson, as they refer to it, a numerology lesson on the death of Billy Cannon on the 20th of May before the 2020 championship. And they do it while the ball's on the 20-yard line. And again, it's not us who are obsessed with the numbers. I'm over here dedicated to exposing the numerologists who rule over us and mock us and ritualistically murder people and do tie it all together. Rigged elections, rigged sports, rigged news, all synced up year after year, just like how in 2020 we were down in New Orleans educating about all the people who died from that community for the rigged college football championship. But all right. Justin Trudeau, again, last night, the news breaks on January 5th, 1-5. Canada has that Gematria value of 15. Again, if you're new here, this practice of coding numbers into words comes from Kabbalah. The term the Cabal is based in Kabbalah. Freemasonry is based in Kabbalah. But anyhow, Trudeau's father, unless it's Fidel, but Trudeau's father was the 15th Prime Minister of Canada. And notice he became prime minister in the time of Jimmy Carter's presidency, 19 days before the Georgia Guidestones went up. Again, last Sunday, it was Jimmy Carter's very Jesuit ritualistic death synced up with Sunday Night Football, where I told you before the game why the Commanders coach would get his 54th win in light of Jimmy Carter equaling 54, only for there to be 54 points in the game. So here we are a Sunday later, and now the son of another prime minister. Again, we live in the land of kings and queens with rigged selections that we call elections, but they're really not. It only matters who counts the votes. Again, a Sunday later, here we are, 54 days after the Jesuit order leader's birthday. That's Arturo Sosa, born November 12th. From his birthday to the news breaking last night that Trudeau was going to resign, 54 days later, Jesuit order, again, equates to 54. Both Trudeaus, who are prime ministers, Jesuit educated in Montreal. And again, this ritual on a Sunday, again, the Catholic Church, who celebrates the sun in the sky as well as the Son of God. And they do it both on December 25th, which is also Justin Trudeau's birthday. But again, sun has the Gematria 54, like Jesuit order. And again, if you're new here, there are 4 base ciphers. You want to know all 4. And this is how they look. The alphabetic order, A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, up to Z is 26. The reverse alphabetic order, and both orders with numerology. And you can see how this news breaking on this Sunday, again, you can't get more Jesuit than Sunday. And again, don't forget this calendar that we're on that says that Trudeau did this on January 5th, 2025. The only reason those dates exist is because of the Catholic Church and the Jesuit priest Christopher Clavius, who gave us the calendar. But again, Sunday and Jesuit, perfect overlap in 3 out of the 4 ciphers. You can see the 84 and the 78, like prime minister equals 84 and 78. And again, in the base ciphers, prime minister also equals 168 and 183, like Justin Trudeau, like so many people on the world stage, born for the position. Born for the position. He was just a little kid when his father was the prime minister. And by the way, you see how his father became prime minister in 1980? That would have been the year that Justin Trudeau would have turned 9 years old. He's resigning exactly 9 weeks after the 9th anniversary of becoming the prime minister. If you take the alphabetic order with numerology, sun, S-U-N, equals 9. Okay. So yeah, just Sunday and Jesuit, perfect for a prime minister story. The 21 matters because the 21st century has been the century of the total Jesuit takeover of the world, which began with a bang with a huge Jesuit ritual with the World Trade Centers coming down, and then the new crusades in the Middle East by the numbers shortly after. But today, the day he officially resigns on the 6th, 21 is the 6th triangular number. Today is the 21st day of the Pope's age. We'll come back to how the 4 base ciphers of Pope all factor in with this ritual. We'll look at that in the next post. But notice that Trudeau also became the leader of the Liberal Party 11 years ago. Prime Minister for 9 years, 11 and 9. CNN this morning keeps showing that graphic. Liberal Party leader 11 years, Prime Minister 9 years. I mean, just put it right in your face, the 11 and the 9. And people don't know what it means, but we'll come back to that as well. Notice from the anniversary of him becoming the Liberal Party leader, April 14th, to January 5th, the day that the news broke that he was going to resign, 266 days later. Again, the Jesuit motto is Sus Hominum Salvator equals 266. We're in the time of the 266th Pope, Pope Francis. The day he became the Liberal Party leader, April 14th. Day full of Jesuit ritual and history, including Jesuit puppet Elon Musk bidding to buy Twitter at $54 a share. Again, Jesuit order equals 54 and 144. It's also the day in history that Lincoln was assassinated, who blamed the American Civil War on the Jesuits. But, yeah, 14/4, alphabetic order, Jesuit order 144. All these years later, 54 days after the leader of the Jesuits' birthday, the news breaks that he'll resign. And, coming to today where the resignation is official, the very next day, from the anniversary of him becoming the prime minister, November 4th, that was in 2015. In 15, you guys, like how the news breaks on January 5th, 1-5, like how his daddy was the 15th prime minister. But from the anniversary, November 4th, 2024, the 9th anniversary, to today, again, exactly 9 weeks on the nose. Again, sun equals 54 and 9. The Jesuit order's logo is the sun, with the letters IHS in it for Sus Hominum Salvator. And keep in mind, he is the 23rd Prime Minister of Canada. 23 is the 9th prime number. 23, the 9th prime. 9 weeks after the 9th anniversary, he announces the resignation. Says he will officially leave office when they have a new prime minister picked, who again is believed to be the 45-year-old conservative. And keep in mind, 45 is the 9th triangular number. If you add 1 through 9 together, it equals 45. So again, just the 144-54 thing, the Jesuit logo, the sun, how all these things fit together. In light of 11 years as the Liberal Party leader and 9 years as the prime minister, 11 and 9, infamous number pairing. His mother, from her birthday, September 10th, to this ritual, his official resignation, 119th day of her age, 11 and 9. Again, sync with the Jesuits who served the Pope at the Vatican. Notice where Vatican and Francis overlap, how they have this perfect overlap, 70, 119, 47. Again, the 119 thing. And for the record, in Jewish gematria, Vatican Hill equals 911, 9 and 11 as well. But the four base ciphers of the language, again, the alphabetic order, the reverse alphabetic order, both orders with numerology applied. Those are the four base ciphers of the English language. Pope equals 52. Today's date numerology can be broken down to 52. 1 plus 6 for January 6th, plus 20 plus 25. And then 52, of course, would break down to 7. But Pope 52, we're at the start of 2025, Pope 25. Just like Vatican's also 25 in the same cipher, like how last year the first Super Bowl was on the Vatican's birthday and 25 points was the winning score. The score was 25-22 for a total of 47. But with regards to the reverse alphabetic order, Pope is 56. You could say that today is 55 days after the Superior General's birthday, or you could also say it's his 56th day of his age. The formal title of the Jesuits is 56. You might recall that the whole truckers convoy thing in the time of the Scandemic, which was all about 56, that was a big 56 ritual. And you might recall how the police, they were brutalistic towards the protesters in a big 56 ritual, 56 days from Trudeau's birthday. We covered that back then. If you missed my work on the Scandemic, again, I got a book out there. You can read all about it. We put out that book very early in the Scandemic, middle of 2020, saying why they would wind down their Scandemic as soon as the year of the tiger came around, exactly what they did. But the whole thing was a Jesuit 56 ritual from the beginning through the end, even up to now. Even up to now, they finally admit the lab leak theory from the lab established by the Jesuits out of Paris, France, in Wuhan in 56. But they finally admitted that 56 months and days later. It became official 56 months and days later. And think about how many people lost their YouTube channels for talking about the lab leak theory. I lost a channel several times in the time of the Scandemic. I'm GematriaEffectNews 25, not because the year is 2025, but because I've lost that many channels. I lost a lot in the time of the Scandemic for being right about absolutely everything. And that's not an exaggeration. I was right about absolutely everything about the Scandemic, and I got called misinformation. The media was the misinformation. The authorities were the misinformation. Everything about the Scandemic, all Jesuits, all 56, over and over. Gavin Newsom equals 56. Jesuit educated at Santa Clara. I'm locking down California because 56% are going to get the virus in 8 weeks, which is 56 days, and the name of the virus equals 56. Trump locks down the nation or declares a state of emergency on Friday the 13th, 2020, a date with 56 numerology, 56 years after his Jesuit education began. Anthony Fauci, 56, and a million other things. But again, you learn these numbers, you see through these Jesuits. Everyone who was the face of the Scandemic was a Jesuit, from Trump to Biden to Fauci to Newsom to Cuomo to Klaus Schwab, et cetera, et cetera. Even the first celebrity with the virus, Tom Hanks, born in 56, filming the movie about Elvis, who got the polio jab on live TV on Jonas Salk's birthday, and then ended up dying in a big Jesuit ritual at a very young age of 42. The guy who recorded for Sun Records Studios, Elvis, in his first concert in 54, like Golden Globes equals 54, and then his daughter's dead at 54, and that Golden Globes ritual just a couple years ago. Perfectly sync with Tom Hanks. Anyway, and by the way, Elvis got the polio jab on live TV in the year 56, on Bill Gates' first birthday, mind you, whose wife, in the first year of the Scandemic, turned 56 on the Jesuit order's birthday, and she comes from a family of Jesuit priests. Anyway, that's why I mean, if you're listening to people talking about what's going on in the world and they can't get you past small caps and just words like New World Order, globalists, just turn them off. Just no point even listening to that crap. You have to name names and say who's doing this. That's what we do here every day and prove it in spades. And then you got dummies always coming here. Well, then how come you haven't taken them down? How is a man on YouTube supposed to take down a network of 16,000 and some individuals that operate across 112 countries and run 112 nations' militaries? How's he supposed to do it without people getting behind the research and work? You know, the question is, why aren't the dopes? And phrasing it that way is not very nice, but I also answer the question. Why aren't the dopes getting behind the research? Because it's just that. It's a society of dopes for the most part. Same reason they're falling for this crap every day on TV and not seeing the obvious number rituals right in front of their face. 15th prime minister, son becomes prime minister in 2015. News breaks on 1/5, he's resigning. I think you're just looking for the patterns, the dopes would say. think you're just a dope. I think that's the real problem here. I think until that changes, the Jesuits are going to continue to rule and conquer just the way they are. That's what needs to change. That's why we do this every day, hoping we can pull one dope out of it at a time. But all right. Again, 56th day of his age. Go back to the trucker beatdowns, smash of 56 ritual. And since so much of the news is focused on how Trump was the death blow for Trudeau with the, again, Trump equals 25. We told you years ago he'd be returning in 2025 as the nation's new Grover Cleveland. But again, Trump said on November 25th that he had 25% tariffs coming for Canada and Mexico. Trump 25. Notice today's 159 days before Trump's upcoming birthday. He's going to turn 79 years old. Society of Jesus equals 56 forwards. Run it in reverse, it equals 79. It's like when the Scandemic was declared on March 11, 2020. That was the 79th day of Anthony Fauci being 79 years old, and his name equals 56. Patterns and rituals. But yeah, Donald Trump 159. Don't forget how the Secret Service turned 159 years old last year, and they supposedly saved him on 15/9. Or also don't forget the July 13th hoax under the 13 stripes, 13 weeks from the anniversary of the Secret Service being established, the day Lincoln was shot on 14/4, and how they paused for the photo op so you could get the fist pump under the flag, and all the dopes bought it up. Don't forget how we told you April 5th, 2023, when RFK Jr. got in the race, how there'd be assassination hoax stories with Trump during the election cycle, just like there was for RFK back in 68. But yeah, again, Scottish Rite 159 and 78, like Jesuit. Again, the Jesuits wrote the rights of the Scottish Rite. Prime Minister also 78. Today's 78 days after Kamala Harris's birthday. Remember, insurrection equals 78, as does insurrectionist. And it's the anniversary of that stage thing that was simulated and planned by Jesuit Georgetown. Again, June 12th, 2020, 144 days before the election, when President Biden equals 144, like Jesuit order. Donald Trump, this time around, the election's on November 5th, 144 days after his birthday, and he's the winner again. Repetitive patterns. All right. And again, as for this guy who's expected to become the prime minister, we'll see if this is what's true, but this is what the media is reporting. Again, it's a conservative who's 45 years old. 2025 has a square root of 45. His name, Pierre Polivier, if I'm saying that right, equals 88, like Trump, like how the Pope is 88 years old right now. All things we talked about years in advance. Trump's return at this time in 2025, while the Pope is 88. When again, Trump equals 25 and 88, Pope equals 25, age 88. Remember, right after the Superior General turned 76, they reported that Donald Trump was the first Republican candidate in history to get 76 million plus votes. Again, it has to do with the Pluto's 248-year orbital cycle, because this country was established in 1776, along with the Illuminati, which was founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt, again, 248 years ago. Like President Donald Trump equals 248, like how in 2016 the election was called for him while he was on 248 electoral votes. Also noteworthy, his mother, Trudeau's mother's born the same year as the Superior General, 48. But this man, who is the leader of the Conservative Party, the opposition to the Liberals, he became the leader of the party on her 74th birthday, on Justin Trudeau's mother's 74th birthday. Reminiscent of how his father was born on the day, leaving 74 days left in the year. Again, if you're new here, 74 is a very special number. Masonic equals 74, and a million other relevant things. And of course, Canada's southern neighbor has a birthday that is 7-4. Of course, Independence Day equals 74, like holiday, like a cult, again, like Masonic, like English, like energy, like Gematria, like killing, like how 3 of the first 5 U.S. presidents died on 7-4, like how the simulation for the Scandemic was Event 201, put on by the Jesuit Klaus Schwab on October 18th, 2019. Would have been his 100th birthday anniversary. Words like Roman and even Holy Roman Empire are both 74 and 88. So I do find it very interesting how he became the opposition leader on his mom's birthday and is now the one rumored to be the next prime minister. Just for the record, Justin Trudeau and Donald Trump both have the same gematria of 48 as well, like the year the mother and the superior general were born. For the record, words like Illuminati and Freemason both equal 48 as well. You know what? This guy who's expected to take over, his name also equates to 223, which is the 48th prime. But yeah, the main thing here is his 88 connection, him being 45 years old, and that he became the opposition leader on the mother's birthday. Just all signs of major ritualism. Being born for the throne. These puppets installed into their positions where they, they always, so often they will promise a good game and then they get there and they don't deliver and they lie and they do just the opposite. And it's the same thing worldwide. For the record, the Jesuit acronym IHS also equals 45. And remember, the year started off with a bang in New Orleans, New Year's Day, New Orleans, and then at the Trump Tower, New Orleans is known for trumpet player Louis Armstrong. And then the final story on New Year's Day was the mass shooting in Queens, where Trump's from, not far from his Trump Tower. But remember, New Orleans equals 45. Cybertruck equals 45. Amazura, the club that got shot up in Queens, equals 45. 45, big theme to start 2025, where again, 2025 has a square root of 45. And then this January 6th thing, right here, again, just the mockery, the 4th anniversary, Trump now being confirmed by the Congress. And remember, it's going to be a unified Congress or unified government for the 48th time in history. Donald Trump equals 48. Unified government means one political party has the Oval Office, the House, and the Senate. And again, that was decided on the day leaving 48 days left in the year. On the day leaving 48 days left in the year, that was confirmed. And it was confirmed after election results in Arizona, the 48th state. The Republicans ended up with 220 members in the House. Donald John Trump equals 220. Inauguration day is the 220th day of his age. He paired up with RFK Jr. on the 220th day of RFK's age, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, 56th day of the Superior General's age. It's confirmed in Washington, D.C., which is where the Jesuits set up camp before it became the nation's capital. Washington, D.C., 56 like Society of Jesus. And just to go back to this post from around the time of January 6th, again, you had shortly after that a second impeachment, which came 56 weeks after the last. Again, the first impeachment was December 18th, 2019. From that one to the second one, 56 weeks on the nose, And then the results were 56 to 44. And then the news was saying 56% of Americans thought Trump should be convicted. And, Biden to ask 56 Trump-appointed U.S. attorneys to resign. You know what I mean? Also, just since the Confederate flag flew on January 6th, again, Captain America's Civil War came out on May 6th, 56 months, came out on 5/6, 56 months before January 6th, Civil War 56. There's a lot more to it, too. That's a short list of 56, but just things we were talking about back then. And now here we are, again, on the 56th day of the Superior General's age. Nothing but mockery. Again, it's 78 days after Kamala's birthday. Jesuit, Scottish Rite, insurrection, and insurrectionist, all 78. Remember, Kamala had her convention in Chicago, the 312 area code. Trump wins the vote with 312 electoral college votes. That was Obama's stronghold, Chicago, the 312. The day that the election was called for Trump, you had the death of Candyman. Again, Candyman set in Chicago. Oprah, who asked Trump in 88 if he'd want to be president, she operates out of Chicago. The Pope's birth name, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, 312, turned in 88 as Trump Mr. 88 returns, who again, Oprah asked him in 88 if he'd want to be president someday. Kamala got 42% of the electoral college vote. The number stamped all over Black history. Kamala equals 42, like Candyman in the most recent Candyman movie. It's set 42 years later. They got a big 42 painted on the wall when you go to the murder scene room in the film, if you haven't seen it. Just jokes for days. Kamala Harris, back in 2019, she had that CNN event allowing people to question her blackness on the 42nd day of the year. You got Mike Johnson in the background, whose name equals 56, who's the 56th Speaker of House. It's nothing but jokes. I want to finish up last with this Jeff Boehner and Aubrey Plaza story. But first, just how they got to market the new Meta augmented reality glasses, which combine, if you don't know what they are, it's like things you see in the movie where they have the lens on, where they see in front of them, but they also have all this computer information on the screen to read at the same time. That's what these glasses are about. And, they're showing you pictures of him and pictures supposedly from his viewpoint and telling you it's chilling, it's scary, it's terrifying, you might not want to watch. Okay, it's a video of a guy walking down the street. Could have been a CNN cameraman, a Fox News cameraman, a New York Post cameraman. Anyway, here's what I want to point out about this. Facebook/Meta just debuted these things on September 25th, the 25th of September. That's the day leaving 97 days left in the year, which is the 25th prime number. And then sure enough, on the first day of 25, this has now become an element in the story. And that just them doing this nonstop coverage and getting this out there in the news, this is going to help sell more of these things. And the point I'm making is the news media is the fourth branch of government. It's the propaganda wing of the federal government, the news. Facebook, as we said a million times, it's not founded by Mark Zuckerberg, this little nerdy character like a Bill Gates, who also doesn't run the things that he said to run, just like Jeff Bezos doesn't run the things he said to run, just like Elon Musk doesn't run the things he said to run. They're all Jesuit puppets, and you can prove that in spades by just looking at what goes on in the news each day. But just for Facebook for right now, or Meta, remember, the same day that the U.S. military's DARPA program ended LifeLog, the same day it ended, February 4th, 2004, the exact same day, Facebook launched. That's not an accident. And you've had, government officials and members of the CIA go on news media and make their quotes about how it's never been so easy to gather data and information about the populace and people they're keeping an eye on as it has been in the age of social media, where people reveal so much information. Not to mention all these apps and stuff which allow you to track your position through the phones. Again, it's obvious that these private big tech companies are really government companies. And look at how much money they get for government contracts to develop technology and store data. And like everyone thinks of a company like Amazon for selling stuff, but Amazon is the leader in developing the government's facial recognition software, which is being put in cameras all over for the surveillance state. Anyhow, here's the point I want to make about these glasses. Facebook calls them the Orion AR glasses. AR is for augmented reality, and the AR probably reminds you of another thing because they told you that this guy, you know what? Honestly, when I first turned on the TV New Year's Day, that they were talking about the suspect with the guns he had on him, the AR-15 and the pistol. I thought it was a mass shooting again at first, and even when I broke the news that morning, just breaking it down, I was just talking about like it was a mass shooting because they were focused on the guns. But again. Look how Orion AR, the name of these glasses in the base ciphers, has 45 forwards and backwards, and it also has 99. And from the day that they were debuted to January 1st, that is a total span of 99 days. Total span of 99 days. So what perfect marketing by the numbers. And I mean, it's just business as usual. Business as usual. So, okay. Now this last story, again, put out some short videos. Actually, I hate the whole short video thing that Google now does. If your video is under 3 minutes, they just put it in the shorts. The problem with that is I don't get any views when my video goes in the shorts. So it's like a new thing that Google's doing. I think it's another layer of censorship for channels they don't like. They just stick it automatically in the short. You have no choice, and then you get no views at all. So it's like, okay. But anyway, I put out 2 short videos on this, and they went in the shorts, and nobody watched them. So we'll cover it one more time in greater detail. Since covering that, at first when he was reported dead, there was no cause of death. Now it's SUICIDE. And remember, that's what they said that the Tesla Cybertruck guy did as well. It was self, SUICIDE, the word that big tech doesn't let us use. And remember that the guy who supposedly attacked the Trump Tower with the Tesla vehicle, his name equaled 369 in Gematria. Like Tesla had the quota, if you only knew the magnificence of the numbers 3, 6, and 9, you could unlock the key to the universe. Nice little mockery there. 2 former military guys used in these psyops. But anyway, remember, SUICIDE equals 47. And think about that with attacking Trump Tower, and in this case, Jeff Bena being found dead at 47. His wife, Aubrey Plaza, 47. This happens right before the Golden Globes, where we always see big deaths connected to the award ceremonies. Just another repetitive cycle we talk about year after year. They said Aubrey Plaza was supposed to be one of the presenters, but then obviously she didn't because she was mourning because her husband was found dead, supposedly because he took himself out. And as we covered on Saturday when the news broke, it was the 193rd day of her age when the news broke, and it was unclear then when he had passed because it was saying over the weekend. That was the phrasing they were using in the media on Saturday, over the weekend. But that was the 193rd day of her age. Her husband's name equals 193, which is the 44th prime number, kill and executioner 44. And it turns out he died on Friday. Now, these two came together through this film, Life After Beth, a zombie flick, which came out, or it premiered at the Sundance Film Festival, January 19th, 2014. That date can be written 19/1 like 191. Notice from her birthday to the day her husband died was 191 days later. Could have said it was her 192nd day of her age or 191 days after her birthday, like 19/1. Again, Society of Jesus is 191. And that film, it did premiere January 19th. It was released in the United States on the Jesuit order's birthday, August 15th. August 15th. And just for the record, she was raised Catholic. Again, the Jesuits served the Catholic Church. Here's a close-up of those release dates, so it's easier to see. They say the film grossed $274,000. E Sus Hominum Salvator equals 274. Again, the Catholic Church has celebrated the Son's birthday on 12/25 since 274 AD. His death was announced 9 days after the birth of the Son. Again, just Son with that 9 connection. But let me come down here. According to the police, his birthday is 3 days after hers, June 29th. From his birthday to the death, it was 26 weeks and 6 days later. 26 weeks, 6 days. Her birthday is the 26th of June, 26/6. Again, like the Jesuit motto, E Sus Hominum Salvator equals 266, or in the time of the first Jesuit Pope, the 266th. If you run it forwards, it equals 274, like how much the film grossed. But look at this. From the day that Pope Francis became the first Jesuit Pope to the day that movie premiered was 312 days later, right? Jorge Mario Bergoglio equals 312, just like how the Jesuit pawn Trump supposedly got 312 electoral college votes. And notice also how the name of that film, Life After Beth, equals 72, like Jesuit order. Pope Francis became the first Jesuit Pope on March 13th, the 72nd day of the year. The name Beth equals 17. If he died January 3rd, that was 17 days after Pope Francis's December 17th birthday. Be 14 days to the end of the year. 3 more, 17. Beth equals 17 like kill. Pope Francis equals 59, which is the 17th prime, just for the record. But then what makes this even more interesting is if you look at the plot of the film, Life After Beth, the main character gets bit by a snake that turns him into a zombie, okay? So the year of the snake is about to begin. It's just days away. And at the Vatican, you have this architecture there, and a lot of people think this is paying tribute to the serpent in the Bible, Satan. Notice the year of the snake will officially begin January 29th, 2025. The day he died can be written 3/1 or 1/3. If you write it 3/1, it's like snake when you run the alphabetic order in reverse numerology. Snake is 31. The day the news broke about his death was January 4th, which can be written 1/4 like 14, snake 14. Right before the year of the snake, this celebrity couple suffers a loss right before an award ceremony. And hold on, it was the 82nd Golden Globes. I think I just learned something the other day. Shout out to Dave. I think it was Dave who pointed this out to me. I'm pretty sure 82 is the 59th composite number. Let me see if I got this right. Because if it is, again, Pope Francis equals 59. And it's like Benedict stepped down on the 59th day of the year for him. Yeah, 82 is the 59th composite number. Interesting. Joe Biden going to leave office at age 82 after winning the 59th election, becoming number 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday. Again, Catholic equals 46. JFK was killed at age 46. John F. Kennedy equals 59. So yeah, that is interesting. 82 and 59, and Joe Biden leaving office at 82. Assuming he finishes, right? Right now, it's looking like he might finish. That's the one thing that I have been wrong about in the last 4 years. I thought he would not finish his term. We weren't all the way wrong. I said there'd be a transition of power from him to Kamala when he's 81 and she's 59. That essentially happened when he passed the torch so that she could run. But at this point, it does look like he's going to finish his term. And the prophecy of Gerald Ford, that's what we were banking on, what Gerald Ford predicted, how an old man would be president someday. He would pass. We'd get a younger woman as the first female president. Again, it seemed to make a lot of sense because he delivered those remarks at the Herbert Hoover Library, a man who died in history the exact same day Kamala Harris was born, October 20th, 1964, the year of the Civil Rights Act. Still a chance, but the hourglass is running out on that one. So, and that's the problem with dummies too. They'll get hung up on something like that. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, Gematria's bullshit because Zach said that Kamala was going to become." It's like, yeah, what about the 100 other things he said were going to happen that did happen? It's funny how that's the way dopes' minds work. They look for excuses for why not to accept information that's being presented to them that's undeniable every single day. How many times have we talked about this one right here? And we've even talked about the whole zombie thing in the SUICIDE because, again, we've seen this before. The other year, it was probably 3 or 4 years ago now. It was around the same time that Sinead O'Connor's son was reported missing. There was a 34-year-old actor from The Walking Dead who supposedly took themselves out. And just you see how the SUICIDE word and zombie overlap. So again, they met through the zombie movie, and now when he's 47, supposedly that's what happened. I just want to remind all the people out there that don't help share the work but are aware of it. Again, it's that MLK speech. If you're silent against tyranny and evil, you become part of the tyranny and the evil. And I know there's got to be a lot of people who came through here that are guilty of that. And it's sad that people don't care. It's sad that people don't care. So getting mocked every day, getting made fun of by the authorities, people getting murdered, people wasting their time and energy on things that are rigged that they should know better about. And they probably would if more people were helping getting out the word. They wouldn't be involved in rigged elections, voting for the lesser of two evils. Wouldn't be funneling their money into the rigged sports games for the overpriced tickets, food, and parking, knowing that they're just being mocked. They just love to punk the home crowds over and over. Home teams barely finished above 50% for the year, yet again in the NFL. What home field advantage? Yeah, exactly. And this thing, we've been talking about that for years too. Just Trump with his, you knew I was a snake, but you let me in thing. So appreciate the support as always, Dante Reed. Thank you very much. And I think we'll leave it there for now. Thank you everyone who hits the like and share. Hey, yeah, truly, Logan Thomas. I see your comment out there. Absolutely. Again, I remember when I was working at the group home in the early 2000s, and that song was on the radio. what's the guy's name? He's a Jamaican ancestry. I can't think of the guy's name, but the song about being Suicidal. Is his name like? Is it Livingston? I remember he had his home raided recently. It was synced up with the Diddy raid. I remember they raided Diddy's house on the anniversary of Biggie's album coming out, Life After Death. Is it Livingston or Kingston? Is it Sean Kingston? I can't think. Hold on. I got to look this up real quick. But this is like a big song in the early 2000s. Little kids singing this song. Beautiful Girls, Sean Kingston. That's the song. About how these girls are making him... Here on the Wikipedia, there's a lyrics controversy. Due to the lyrics containing references to Suicide, the song was ineligible to be played on Radio Disney. No, but it was played everywhere at the time. And yeah, I just remember working in the group home at that time, watching all these little kids sing the lyrics of this song. And I just thought, I don't even think these kids know what they're saying. They're like 6, 7, 8-year-old kids in the group home just singing along. Yeah. Yeah. I hear it, Logan. Yeah, Open Up was all over. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Black Sabbath got some songs with the title. Yeah, indeed. Don't forget what happened to the bassist for Metallica when they were touring with Ozzy Osbourne. Died in a big Jesuit ritual on the anniversary of the Jesuits being recognized by Rome. Ozzy Osbourne has that same gematria as the Jesuit order. Has the song about Aleister Crowley, the famous occultist who was into this whole letters and numbers thing. HMPV fear-mongering? Whoa, I'm not sure what we're on about that. I know you're in India, so... Here. In India, apparently... HMPV virus. Yeah. It's a respiratory virus, okay. Human melanoma. Melanoma virus. Let's see. Let's see when this one was discovered. It was isolated for the first time at the start of the 21st century. Okay. In the Netherlands. Again, you eat well, you exercise, you take care of yourself. You got an immune system that works and fights most things and makes your body, immune from most disease and illness. And the media never focuses on that. They want to scare you into going out and becoming a guinea pig for big pharma. Funny, the phrasing of that is 89 like virus, right? And then I also see the 269, which is the 57th prime, like VACCINE, like how they've made this guy the father of VACCINE propaganda. And again, you guys weren't here in 2020. Could have cashed in big on May 7th, 2020. We had it called out months in advance why the Moderna stock was going to skyrocket on that day, backed by Bill Gates, exactly what it did when it became approved for ACE2 testing. But it's also got a 109 in it, military, like who ushers out these jabs when they need them out there. Operation Warp Speed and whatnot. HMPV, let's see the acronym. HMPV. Well, off the top, I don't see where that fits in at the moment, but could be overlooking something. It was isolated in 2001. I'd like to know what day it was isolated in 2001. It was likely at some point later in the year, so I'm sure we're at 23 years and change since the anniversary of that. as it becomes this big scare at the start of 2025. Here, let's see. When was I need more than 2001 in the Netherlands? When? Well, I'm sure it's out there if you dig more. Hold on, I see this too about this 58 thing. This thing about 78 or 1958 in relation to this virus, it also does have the 271 connection, which is the 58th prime. So a related strain goes back to 58. All right, I'll follow that story. I appreciate the heads up. I got to finish a few other things right now. So D26 wants to hop on real quick. Yeah, you can come on real quick. And then I got to hop off because we got a doctor's appointment we got to run over to real quick. I didn't realize that I had that going on today, but that's coming up on the itinerary. All right. I dropped the link in the stream for D26. All right, D26, did you get the link? I dropped it again. All right, I'm standing by. If anybody else wants to hop on to add anything we talked about, that's okay, but I can't go too much longer. I need to wrap this up in about the next 8 minutes. All right, here's D26.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can.
All right, so I think I just have few things, couple of two or three things. I'm still finding what is the exact date when this news started breaking out. It's surprising that you guys don't know in the West because this HMPV scare. I hope this stream is not taken out because of using that words. This first started in China. I think about on 2nd or 1st of Jan. If it is on 2nd of Jan, I've mentioned this before about last year. That 2nd January, if you write 2nd January, that equals 201. If you write HMPV epidemic, that equals 201. I think they will first call it as an epidemic because there's a difference between an endemic, an epidemic, and a pandemic. So these three words have different um, meanings. So I think they will first call it as a virus outbreak, and then they will call it as an epidemic, and then they will call this as a pandemic. That's how the trend goes. So it was first begun in China, I think on 1st or 2nd of Jan, where they started showing videos of people are being like hospitals are being overwhelmed, a lot of people are wearing masks. But just today I was talking to my friend that it is, since we know how China is advanced when it comes to organizing anything in terms of infrastructure, for them, given their society, given their government, it's very easy for them to make like a fill up a room of 1,000 people and create a scenario. It's not difficult for a country like China to do that. So but the core thing that started was just like few days ago the video started coming going viral. I know the video is probably older, that must be from December, but yeah, for so far I just find that if you write the name, the initials HMPV, that equals 13, like the for 1/3. In India, at least I can say that it the first case was on 3rd of Jan. So that's what I would say, 3rd or 4th of Jan. It's still again unconfirmed reports and all that stuff, but yeah, they started with the so now they've changed the date. I think, I don't know why, but I'm not sure. Even again, I'm not claiming myself to be right, but now they're saying that the first case was on 6th of Jan, so might be wrong. But yeah, they have started like the fear mongering of this, and mention keep this in mind. We have all been saying that, regardless of Gematria in the picture, that anyone with the common sense that they have used COVID, and that was season one. Season two of whatever kind it will be, they will use tactics, mm, I would say, to fear people more, to give in their rights. They will use tactics like this new thing targets little people. That's what I have been saying, and that's what most people with common sense can predict, that is what they will use in the season two of when it comes to global health and all that stuff, because now they'll use again testing and all that. They've set up that infrastructure around the world, whether it is developing countries, and other first world countries, that they will use this newly set up infrastructure when it comes to global health and all that stuff. So uh, let's see what happens till at least first 2 3 months.
I just want to remind people too. I was pointing this out in 2020 when they had us on lockdown. Netflix had added this show Between, which is about a virus being unleashed on a population for experiment. And the whole show keeps going back to this medical building 201, like event 201 was the simulation. Again, huge number with the Jesuits. But I turned on Netflix yesterday, and just right at the beginning, it's one of the things popping up in the feed of the trending stuff. And I thought, wow, it's like deja vu. Okay, at the start of 2020, they got this. At the start of 2025, they got this back in the queue. And again, we've been talking about the SPARS 2025 simulation for some time now. Again, that was put on by the same people who did Event 201 and Claydex. We'll see. We'll see what comes.
And since you mentioned about the SPARS pandemic, give me just 30 seconds. There is one page on, you still have the PDF for that document, right? The SPARS pandemic.
Let me see if I link the PDF in my post on it.
So there is this PDF, and in this PDF, I think you should read the. I don't know if it's in the first 4 or 5 pages. Notice that what have they mentioned about the current president in that document. It's very similar to what Gerard Ford said, or something like that. Similar to that. I wouldn't say very similar, but yeah, there is some resemblance to that story regarding a male president or a female president, like different genders of in the male and the president and the vice president, and how that goes. And I still have to decode those documents, whatever the cases that they have mentioned. But yeah, since they have mentioned 2025, also I might add just 2 3 finds regarding March, because now we will be having the 5-year anniversary towards the announcement of pandemic by WHO. That will be in March 11th. That will be 60 months. Donald Trump equals 60, and it will be 5 years. 25 is the square of 5, just like Trump and death.
Yeah.
So yeah, just those things. That's it for now. Thank you for having me, and thank you for just noticing my message on the chat.
Always.
We'll
All
talk
right.
soon.
Thanks for coming on and sharing what's going on over in India and China. Appreciate it.
All right, have a good day. I
you too.
have a meeting early morning, 7:30.
All right. You take care.
Yeah, you too.
All right. And Endgame Exposure wanted to hop on. What's up?
Hey man, I just wanted to chime in on what the New York Post had recently dropped. They had mentioned how they're referring Kamala Harris to President or Madam President. I thought that was very interesting. On the New York,
Hold on. Where are they referring to her as that at?
Madam President on the New York Post.
Oh, on the New York Post.
Yes.
Well, maybe it'll still happen. Maybe it'll still happen. We'll see.
Yes, and then also a bit off topic, but the Skip Bayless incident that had occurred yesterday. If you check out my Instagram at in-game exposure, I did a quick breakdown of how they're putting Skip through this humiliation ritual, through him offering 1.5 million to Joy Taylor for sex when sex equals 15. It is that right there. On the 33rd day of his age, he's the host of Undisputed. Undisputed equates to 137. That's the 33rd prime. They say it's a 42-page lawsuit when Joy Taylor equates to 42, as does her brother Jason Taylor, who was a former NFL player. He also equates to 42. Interesting. Yeah, she was the host, co-host. It's the same December 4th birthday as Jay-Z too. Skip Bayless.
Okay, I overlooked this story. Yeah, 1.5 million. Man, that's a lot to offer. But yeah, it sounds like a humiliation ritual. Okay.
Yeah. And it's the funny thing is, he was still out there tweeting, about sports games when all this when it was going down.
Yeah. And then just all the related stuff that comes out. Fox Sports, Joy Taylor slept with ex-NFL star Emmanuel Acho. Just nonstop distractions by the numbers. 42-page report. She's obviously at least part black. I mean, it's just, yeah, same stuff. New year. So, okay.
Yeah,
Good
man.
breakdown.
Yes, sir. Anyways, guys, check out my Instagram while you can. I try to daily post, to get to the truth out there. Zach, you and many others in this community have motivated me to speak out. It means a lot. It's what you do on a daily basis. So it's just like, we all have to use this. We can all make our own platform and get this word out collectively, not just, hold Zach accountable to everything, you have a kid. So it's just like, the spiritual shift that's taking place right now. It's like we all got to get on board with it because they do got something big coming.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They're driving
That's
us
about it,
closer to the
guys.
cliff. All right. Well, I wasn't following you, but now I am. So apologies for that. But hey, better late than never.
Oh, no
Thanks
worries,
for
man.
out the work.
Yeah, man, for sure. I always try to get out your work, and always give your props to you and whatnot, dude.
Appreciate that.
Yes, sir. No, anyways, thank you again. Y'all have a great day, guys.
Yeah, you too. Take care.
All right, bye.
I'm not super active on Instagram, but again, wherever you can get out the word, it's great. And yeah, sometimes I think I might need to switch up platforms. I haven't wanted to leave YouTube because that's what they've wanted us to do is leave. But again, not reaching very many new people here. Even the people who are subbed, hardly anyone have any interest in the work. Average video seems like it's down to around 1,000 views. Not a good look. Gematria 32 says, while they were validating the electoral votes today, they referred to Kamala as Madam President. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, they could still pull it off. 14 days left. What if they did it in 2 days? 12 days before the inauguration. That's a Kamala. Wouldn't that be something if we had Kamala for president as 12 days just for some more empty token symbolism? Well, the haters, they'd be left with nothing to say, but we'll see. We'll see. All right. All right. Amy also shares the work at Crack Their Code on her YouTube page if you want to check it out. I got to hop off for now, True Seeker. Again, thank you to everyone who hits the like and the share. If you got here late, yeah, please do start over from the beginning. We covered pretty much all the top things buzzing. Just got a little bit of input on the Skip Bayless thing, and D26 filled us in on the latest outbreak scare over in the East in China and India. All right, True Seeker. Have a great rest of your day, and until next time.